Ziraith had seen the worst of humanity. For 3 centuries, she had watched from the shadows as humans expanded across the galaxy like a wildfire, consuming worlds and bending species to their will. They were conquerors, destroyers, architects of suffering. Her own people, the Dracari beings of scales and ancient magic, had learned this truth when human warships descended upon their homeworld like locusts. She remembered the screams, the fire that wasn't fire, but something far worse, plasma that burned hotter than any dragon's breath. Her mother's final roar as she defended their mountain sanctuary. The silence that followed. Ziraith survived because she was young enough to hide, small enough to be overlooked. She fled to the outer colonies, to places where humans were fewer, where she could blend into the crowds of 1,000 displaced species. She took work where she could find it her strength and resilience, making her valuable in the industrial sectors where questions weren't asked. On Station Kepler 442, she loaded cargo containers in Bay 7. She kept her head down, her luminescent scales dulled by ash and grime, her wings bound tight against her back beneath a worn thermal cloak. She spoke to no one, trusted nothing, especially not humans. Then Theo arrived. He was unremarkable by human standards, average height, tired eyes, clothes that had seen better days. He worked 3 docks over as a maintenance technician, and Ziraith had noticed him only because he never bothered her. Most humans stared. They whispered about the dragon girl when they thought she couldn't hear. But Theo simply nodded politely when their paths crossed and went about his business. Until the day everything changed. Ziraith was hoisting a container twice her size when she heard the commotion. Raised voices, the clatter of drop tools. She turned to see Theo sprinting across the bay, a small bundle clutched against his chest. "Please." His voice cracked with desperation. "Someone, anyone. I need help." The other workers backed away. Ziraith understood why when she saw what he carried, a human child, no more than 4 years old, convulsing in his arms. The girl's lips had turned blue, her small body racked with seizures. The med centers closed for decontamination protocols. Theo gasped, his eyes wild as they swept the crowd. "The next nearest facility is 2 sectors away." She won't, she can't. No one moved. Humans helping humans, Ziraith thought bitterly. Unless it's inconvenient. Then Theo's gaze found hers. She froze. Every instinct screamed at her to turn away, to pretend she hadn't seen. Human problems weren't her concern. Human children grew into human soldiers, human commanders, human destroyers. But Theo didn't demand, didn't order. His eyes simply held hers, brown and deep and drowning in a terror she recognized. The same terror she'd felt watching her mother die. "Please," he whispered. "Her name is Evelyn." Ziraith's hands moved before her mind could catch up. She dropped the container with a deafening clang and crossed the distance in 3 strides. "Give her to me." Theo didn't hesitate. He placed his dying daughter into the arms of a creature whose species his kind had nearly exterminated. Ziraith cradled Evelyn against her chest, feeling the child's rabbit-quick heartbeat, the wrongness of her breathing. Dracari had healing capabilities, something in their genetic makeup that could accelerate cellular repair. It was old magic, unreliable, and it drained the user terribly. She had sworn never to use it for humans, but Evelyn's tiny hand clutched weakly at Ziraith's cloak, and something inside the dragon girl shattered. She closed her eyes and let her power flow. Golden light emanated from her scales, seeping into the child's trembling form. The seizure slowed, steadied, stopped. Color returned to Evelyn's face as her breathing evened out. When Ziraith opened her eyes, she was exhausted, but Evelyn was sleeping peacefully. Theo was crying. "Thank you," he choked out, reaching for his daughter. Then he paused, uncertainty crossing his face. "May I?" Ziraith stared at him. This human, asking permission, showing vulnerability, trusting her, still trusting her even now. She gently transferred Evelyn back to her father's arms. "She'll need rest," Ziraith said quietly, "and a proper doctor when available. What I did was temporary. You saved her life." Theo's voice was firm despite his tears. "I don't know how to repay. You already did." Theo blinked. "What?" Ziraith looked down at her hands, still faintly glowing. "You gave me your child when she was dying. You trusted me. Humans don't trust my kind." They never have. Maybe some of us are learning. Theo adjusted his grip on Evelyn, who murmured softly in her sleep, "Look, I know you keep to yourself. I respect that, but if you'd be willing, I could use help with her. I'm a single father, work double shifts just to keep us fed. The station's daycare won't accept her anymore after today medical liability," they said. Zirith's throat tightened. "You want me to watch your child? I want someone I can trust. Someone who already proved she'd save Evelyn's life even when she had every reason not to." Theo met her gaze steadily. "I can't pay much, but I can offer friendship, a place at our table, a chance to be more than whatever this place has forced you to be for 3 centuries. Ziraith had survived by maintaining walls, by remembering what humans had done, by nursing her hatred like a flame in the dark, but looking at Evelyn's peaceful face, feeling the echo of her tiny heartbeat. Those walls crumbled. "I'll think about it," she heard herself say. Theo smiled, small but genuine. "That's all I ask." He started to leave, then turned back. "Ziraith, that is your name, right? I've heard the others say it." She nodded slowly. "Thank you, Ziraith, truly." After he left, Ziraith stood alone in the cargo bay, staring at her hands. Hands that had carried rage for so long now glowed with the remnant of healing magic. Perhaps, she thought, there were different kinds of humans. Perhaps the ones who had destroyed her world weren't the same as the one who had just placed his greatest treasure into her care. Perhaps it was time to stop surviving and start living. 3 days later, when Theo asked again, Ziraith said yes, and Evelyn, upon waking in the dragon girl's arms for the first time, smiled and whispered a single word, "Pretty," for the first time in 3 centuries. Ziraith smiled back,